Hello there. How are you all doing today? How are you doing? How are you feeling? Are you feeling good? Hope you're feeling good. Hope you're feeling fine, because I am. And it's not because life doesn't have its ups and downs. It's because I choose to feel fine. Choosing to feel fine doesn't mean that there aren't elements that can actually ruin that state, but you choose. So you could be in a state where you're not happy, some things are not going well for you, but you just chose to just look at the bright side of things and just move forward with everything else. And that's the way I'm looking at life now. After the whole Valentine frenzy and everything that's gone around, I'm happy that I was able to spend Valentine with the people that I really love, my children, my sister, and some friends that I felt that they deserve that communication of love, because they've been there for me. So it was really cool to get, gifts for people, that matter around you, not just only someone you're in a romantic relationship with. And I also had myself a very nice me time, taking care of myself and everything like that. So it's really cool, really good, to be in the position where you can actually appreciate having a relationship with yourself. Yeah. Have a relationship with yourself. So that is really critical. And in doing that, a lot of clarity will come to you. You're very intentional, very mindful, and you'll get to unlearn a lot of stuff, and you now start to learn and be a better you. You need to be very conscious of being a better you. And okay, so today our topic is about the power of communication in a relationship. And this is not restricted to only marital or romantic relationships. Any relationship at all, communication is key, is power. One of the things that I saw that lacked in my own relationship, especially the marital one, was the opportunity for communication. I'm a talker. Like, you know me, I love to talk. Like, I'm a talker, I'm an expresser, and I'm dealing with a spouse that doesn't talk that much. You understand? So sometimes you get frustrated when you're not getting enough from them because they're not filling that void that you have. But sometimes it's not really their duty to do that, because if the person is not a talker, is not a talker. However, not a talker is not an excuse for not a communicator. So your spouse or your partner could be someone who less is more for them. They can say one line, and that one line carries a lot of weight to them. And we that are expressors are like, is that it? Is that enough? Give me more, give me more, give me more. And we also need to learn to understand that sometimes some people can just say, I'm sorry, and it carries weight. However, it shouldn't end there. An act of service, kindness, and other love languages that you have to discover about your spouse will allow communication be, wholesome. So communication is not only in verbal things or verbal communication, but it also comes in various forms. So not only verbal form, but in various forms. So it could be an act of service. It could be gifting. It could be spending time. Okay. So whatever it is that is the love language of your partner or spouse, you need to learn it and let it resonate within you to always want to give. The reason why you're in love is because you want to express it, not because you want to hoard it, not because you only want to receive it, but giving it attracts it. So if you want someone that, you want someone to love you and feel you and be happy with being around you, I think you want to attract that energy right back by being that to that person too. And another thing is that there's one thing that I also see that is common. There is a way you want to be loved. It's usually not the same way the other person wants to be loved. So your love language should not be the love language of somebody else. You shouldn't enforce it and, shove it down your partner's throat. Somebody is gifting. The other person is act of service. So give act of service and don't go and buy a gift, because that's easy for you to do, because that's the thing that will make you happy, and buy a gift for someone that is an act of service that will work for them. You understand? Or it is spending time that will work for them. So communication can come in various ways. And I just expressed that knowing the love language of your partner is important. And it happens in any relationship. Your father, your mother, your sister, your brother, your colleagues, they all have a love language. The love language is not always romantic and sexual love or sensual love. Just knowing what the vibe of your CEO or your staff, what gingers them or what triggers them or catalyzes their response of doing something better. You can study that and you can use that. But primarily we are talking about in the space of a romantic relationship. If you're not communicating, you are done. Trust me, you are done. Nothing can fix it if you are not communicating. The same way you have to communicate, you're able to communicate the soothing, sweet moments, you need to communicate the not so sweet moment. Now, what usually the problem is the how we do that. Sometimes we spit fire because it's coming from a place where we are burning. Like, I wear my emotions on my sleeve sometimes, so I express myself based on the way I'm feeling. I had to learn that sometimes you need to grow in emotional intelligence on how to speak to the problem and not the person. I had to learn that look, I don't need to attack the person, because sometimes I'm always like, why would you do that? Why would you do this? Why would you? It's about you doing it. So at some point you need to learn that it's not about the person. Just the thing is what is wrong. Yes, the person is doing it, but attack the thing so that the person is not defensive and calls back into a place whereby they will not even just give a hoot about it, and it just reoccur. It is very important to set boundaries. Communication helps you set boundaries. Communicate the things that doesn't sit well with you. Communicate them, like I said, in an environment that allows it to be heard. It's also important. I know you've heard this a lot, but practicing it a couple of times, I've seen that it really works. When you do not attack a situation that same moment you're angry, that's the moment that you are riled up, give it time. Even if you still feel the same way, you most likely will approach it differently than if you did at that same time when the issue was going on. And these are, things that I had to also unlearn. You understand what I'm saying? And as much as I'm a considerate person, I also can be flustered. I also can be angry. I also can feel, the emotions that rage. And trust me, rage destroys. It doesn't build. In fact, if you remember the episode I did concerning being justified but still wrong, you can be justified, but you can still be wrong because of your approach. So this is why communication is very important. Not just what you're communicating, but how you're communicating it. Another thing is when. You also want to look at the timing of things. When the mood is right. You need to read the energy of the space you want to communicate. Sometimes some things could be communicated by making an effort and taking the person on a date. And while you're doing that, you are actually going to create a scenario. So you can create a scenario for the opportunity of the conversation, not necessarily just waiting for it to happen. I've had cases where I have a very good friend of mine and, he did something I didn't really like and he wasn't talking about it. I wasn't talking about it. I want to talk about it. So what I did was that, create a scenario whereby we have to meet for work, and meeting for work. Yeah, I want to say, you go follow me talk now. I want to talk to me now in this work. So that scenario allowed some kind of calming of attention and allow the thing you want to communicate to seep right through. So you need to be strategic. It all comes with a lot of building your emotional intelligence as well. It takes a lot from you to live with another human being, because that's another variation of God's expression, totally different, even with all the similarities that we might gather from human behavioral sciences and all the facts that we can put. There's always that room for the uniqueness of the person that is in your life. And those are the things that only you can experience, only you can tell, and only you can get to want to work with that. So with these few points of mine, I hope I've been able to convince you and not confuse you that the power of communication is the pillar that holds any relationship tight, bound, progressive, and productive. Have a productive week ahead. Mwah! I'm dancing out. Woo! As I should. This is LMC, FTK, Happy J, Kaffy. Hey, bye bye, bye bye, bye bye, bye bye, bye bye.